All right, everyone, welcome to the webinar with Heather Vickery, where we are going to be getting unstuck, going over some things and yeah, learning how to undo the blocks that keep us from being creative, really. So, Heather Vickery is an achiever of unrealistic dreams, which I love, a transformation coach, speaker, community builder, and retreat host. I'm going with her to Costa Rica in January, which I hope you'll be talking about at some
I
point.
sure will, of course.
She brings over 25 years of entrepreneurial leadership to her work. Heather helps conscious leaders master the trifecta of self, knowing, liking, and trusting themselves so that they can lead from the embodied joy. When you lead with joy, you show up differently, that's for sure. You engage differently and you create more powerful results. So, her coaching integrates human design, which is why we sent you all to fill out your human design chart, NLP, and subconscious reprogramming to help you get rid of your limiting beliefs, take inspired action, all of those fun things. She is
You
also
don't
a
have to read the
best
whole thing.
well,
It's so
I want
long.
people to know who you are. So, but this part is important to our audience. She is
It's
also an
true.
author. Yep. She did well, F
I have something fun to
Fearless.
show you. I know you can't say it.
Yes, and she was also a co-author in one of my book anthologies about raising up tiny little activists in our world. So a book collaboration, but of mom authors, writers, and all of those types of things. So very cool. She knows our world. She understands our world, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and I thank you so much for being here. I'm excited about this. I'm going to let you take over.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for having me, Alexa. I'm excited to be here with everybody. And I grabbed this. This came up in conversation yesterday, of all things, this book, because what being invited by Alexa to participate in this book did for me is it took away the stigma of how hard it would be to become a published author. Because I wrote one chapter, right? And then I got to say I'm a published author, and it was such an incredible gift that you gave me. So I want to thank you for that. Let me get my screen shared here. Let's see. Let's see. Where is it? Tech Technology has been teching lately. Okay, let me try again. I apologize. I don't know if technology has been teching for you, but it has definitely been teching for me. Oh, and my puppy has just decided to visit us. So bear with me for just a second. Yes, we are here to talk about from resistance to resonance, unblocking all of these creative pathways. And my work really centers around helping heart centered conscious leaders, just like you, learn to know, like, and trust yourself so that you can stretch yourself so that you can expand and learn and grow in ways that feel aligned and authentic to you. So, very quickly, Alexa gave me such a beautiful intro. You can see all this stuff here, but I am a transformation coach, an author, speaker, a retreat host. As Alexa mentioned, I co host a podcast called Was It Chance about taking intentional risk for creative success. I think you guys might love it. We interview a ton of authors, it's a lot of fun. I came out of the closet at 38 years old after a decade of marriage and 4 kids. That has certainly shifted my life in massive ways and continues to do so all the time. It requires me to practice what I preach, to reassess, reflect, and figure out how I want to show up again differently day after day. I don't need to go through this line by line. I want to see if there are comments I should be looking at. You want to go to Paris? Alexa and I always want to go to Paris, do we not? I think I have your books that feature Paris right over here, Alexa. Um, Actively manifesting living in Paris part of the year. So that is something that I'm always thinking about. And in fact, one of the ways that I do that is by having pictures that I took while in Paris behind me so that when I'm on camera, I can see it and I can picture in it. I can envision it. So, very quickly, I just want to share with you all that I only have one rule when we are in space together. One rule. And that one rule is that there are no rules. Let's just ditch all of that now. Let's release all of that right now. Because what works for somebody else is very likely not to be what works for you. And so I always say, my only rule is that there are no rules, and embody that, enjoy that, be in that space. So just while we're here in this space together for the next 45 minutes, I want you to know that it's interactive. I do have the chat open. You can ask questions anytime. Um, Happy to stop and pause and do that. We will do a little sample of some breath work, a little sample of some EFT tapping, so you guys can really understand the things that I'm talking about in real time. You might want to have some water on hand. Yeah, you're all authors. You probably have a notebook or a journal or something. But I like to remind people it's you can do that. And last but not least, there are no safe places, only safe people. And I like to consider myself a safe person, but we need to all be safe people in this space, right? So we ask thoughtful questions, we don't make assumptions, all of that fun stuff. And I hope that you will enjoy being in this space for me. Okay. So I am in the trenches with you all a little bit right now. I don't even think Alexa knows this. I am in the process of working on my second full book. I've done journals and I've done anthologies and things like that. But this baby was the hard work. And I have another one coming out. I don't know how many of you can resonate with this, but I'm sure plenty of you can. It's been percolating for a couple of years and I just couldn't get my ideas right. And then about 6 weeks ago, I was driving and the whole book just sort of downloaded to me. And I came home and I wrote out the outline and I started working on it. And then it's been crickets, right? So there's resistance there. Well, what in the heck is that resistance all about? And because I have been doing this work for a long time, I know to take myself through my tools and my resources. So for those of you who haven't already been doing that, let me just remind you that resistance isn't laziness. It's some sort of subconscious protection. Resistance is a messenger. It's something that can provide you information. So what, you guys know this old phrase, right? What we resist persists. So instead of fighting against it, I urge you to sit with it for a little bit. Is where are you feeling that pressure? Not just in your mind, but in your body. So much of my work is about getting to know your truth by getting the answers from your body. And I know that this is something that you, Alexa, have been really working on a lot lately as well. We're going to do this at the Costa Rica retreat as well. But where are you feeling the resistance physically? Does it show up in your chest? Does it show up in the back of your neck? Is it in your belly? Like our upper arms? Why do I feel resistance in my upper arms? I don't know. That's so wild. But find out where it's showing up in your body and then remind yourself that this is really vulnerable work for all of us, right? Whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction, whatever you're doing, your subconscious mind is wired to avoid being told you're not good enough, to being rejected. We don't naturally, instinctually go seeking it. That's not how we're built. So it's okay to be afraid. What I hope you'll do and have been doing and will feel have some more resources to do after this time together is to sort of take that fear, tuck it in your pocket and show up and do it again differently, do it anyway, but with some ways that you can feel more comfortable in that process. Um, Creativity can feel so very risky because it often is risky. We're putting ourselves out there and we want it to land. And I brought this story up about being invited to participate in this book with Alexa years ago, like so many years ago now, a really long time ago, because one of my blocks, one of my walls was that it will be too hard to become a published author. And finding a creative outlet like being part of Lose the Cape allowed me to check that one off my bucket list. Resistance isn't a wall, it's a compass. Right. So what do you want to do with that information that you're gathering? Feel free to chime in. I want to hear what are some of the stories that you have in your mind that just kind of mess with you, get in the way. They trip you up a little bit. Some of the ones that I've heard and seen and even felt myself is, oh, I'm not disciplined enough. I procrastinate because I don't care, or I don't have the skills, or I don't have the knowledge, or I don't have the time. Um, in this one, look, I should just push through it, and I truly, deeply, madly do not think that pushing through is the answer for anything. So instead, I like to shift it, right? Um, Instead of you thinking I'm not disciplined enough, be honest that your system is overwhelmed. It's not that you're unmotivated, it's that there's too much stimuli, there's too many things going on. So how can you sit with yourself, pull it back a little bit, be thoughtful and intentional? What's one small intentional action step you can take in any given moment just to move you forward a little? Remember that big things don't happen in big steps, they happen in a series of small intentional steps. Procrastination. How many of you would identify yourself as a procrastinator? Drop an emoji in the box if you consider yourself a procrastinator. I have always been a procrastinator. And years ago, one of my coaches said to me, "What if instead of saying I procrastinate, you said I do my best work at the last minute?" But the truth is, I do my best work at the last minute. So, what the difference was saying something, thinking, and feeling something that made me feel bad versus scheduling my things around a deadline that then allowed me to relax and not disappoint myself all the time. Because I used to try and create, get things done early, but I would always put them off because I knew they weren't due. And so that was a beautiful life hack for me is now I schedule things right before they need to be done because I know I'm going to get them done. I know I'm going to get them done well, and I don't beat myself up in that process. But a lot of times when we're procrastinating, it's because we care so much and we don't want to get it wrong. What if people don't like it? What if I can't do it? What if it's not good enough? Right? I see the emojis. Y'all are there. I get it. I want to give you a hug. Right? The things that we think about ourselves and say to ourselves really imprint on us on a neurological level, on a subconscious level. So, if nothing else today, I want you to really leave here thinking about how thoughts become things. And how can you change the way you think and speak to yourself so that you feel more aligned and more motivated? Again, pop up with any questions. I'm checking my slides on my phone as well as doing them here so that I know. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. All right. So some of you pulled your human design chart. If you haven't pulled it, feel free to do it now. You can use this QR code. Alexa and I have chatted several times about the power of human design. I started studying human design just because it called to me. I was very curious about it. And I now know that was my splenic authority saying, this is something that's going to change your life. But I didn't know it at the time. And in fact, I went in to get a certification simply for my own self awareness and knowledge. I did not even think I would use it in a work environment. That just goes to show you, right? The universe always has our back. But I love human design. How many of you are already familiar with human design? Let me know in the comments if you already knew it, if you're familiar with it. But it is a modern scientific self discovery system based on several different ancient sciences and philosophies: the Chinese I Ching, Kabbalah, Buddhism, quantum physics, the chakra system, and astrology. It is here to help you expand, to know yourself very deeply, to work with what you've got, and to trust yourself in that process. There's nothing to change or fix in human design. You cannot change the way you're designed. The goal is to learn to work with it. So if you pulled your chart a while ago or you forget, feel free to pull it again. And then if you want to, you can chime in the chat box what your type is. Your type and your authority will help me a lot as we move through that. But there's nothing to get wrong. You can't change or fix. You want to work with what is true. Every one of us. Oh, you're a projector, Alexa. I should have known that. How you do a splenic projector. I am a splenic projector, my friend. No wonder it's December 9th. We have the same birthday. I forgot about that. But that would not always be the case. Not everybody who has the same birthday has the same design, of course. But that doesn't surprise me. How you get as much done as you get done. Like, we need to have a side chat about how you must block your time. I don't know. I'm very curious because as a projector, we are designed to rest before we're successful. We are not designed to hustle. We are designed to work 3 or 4 hours a day really smart and well, and then be expansive the rest of the time. And we also have to be invited in. Yeah, your body completely shuts down on you like it did, right? You pushed yourself, you were unaligned. Exactly, exactly. Okay, Diana is a manifesting generator with sacral authority. So what I know about you instantly without even looking at your chart, Diana, is that you are a multitasker. You like to try different things. You're here to try different things. Perhaps throughout your life, you've been told, why can't you pick something and stick to it? Why are you always changing your mind? That kind of story. A manifesting generator is going to hear that because you aren't designed to finish everything you start. Look at all the manifesting generators we have. You aren't designed to finish everything you start. You're designed to try things, and when you feel like you have what you need from it, to move on and try something different or delegate or change your mind or stop doing it. My youngest daughter is a manifesting generator, and I have been practicing telling her, because a lot of manifesting generators are afraid to start new things. And I think you think about, writing, they're afraid they're going to get stuck, and so I say, "Oh, yes, you can try this and then you can change your mind. If it's not for you, that's okay. You could do something different." Yeah, Diana, your 10 million hobbies. Yeah, you're supposed to have them. Good for you. You're doing exactly what you're designed to do. Isn't that beautiful? So there are 5 types in human design: projector, manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, and reflector. And generators are very cool folks because they're the ones that get everything done all the time. And manifesting generators also, you have that defined sacral. You have what we call a hell yes or an F no. Right? So you inherently know if something is for you or not for you. And as long as what you're saying yes to are your full body yeses, you don't even really get tired. It's very exciting. You're ready to go. If you have an emotional authority, there are a couple of caveats to that, and I'm happy to chat with you about it separately if you would ever like to. But just know that you're supposed to try all sorts of different things if you're a manifesting generator, but a generator is going to finish everything they start. I don't know if we have any generators here. I haven't seen anybody say that they're a generator here. So make sure you're saying yes to the right things. Because if you're saying yes to things that your body knows is a no, you're going to do it, but you're not going to like it. It's not going to feel good. You're probably not going to do your best work. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time to, Roberta's a generator, that to take the time to know what your yes and no feel like in your body and to listen to that. Now, I combine that in my work with subconscious reprogramming because a lot of times we are just conditioned to behave differently than we are designed to behave. Just like Diana said, your millions of um, hobbies, right? Story of my life, I've done so many things, and most of my life I change jobs every year or so. And I'm sure, Simona, you have, I know this story, right? You've been led to think that you're broken because you made those choices, and I'm here to tell you you're not. Isn't that lovely? And that's just not even looking at your whole chart. Very cool. So we do have generators in the room. When you're looking at your chart, and this is so powerful when you want to think about how to build a structure around writing, around promoting, publishing. It can be all consuming, it can be exhausting. I would love to see you build resources around how you're naturally designed so that it can feel good and aligned as you. The job is to inform. They have closed auras. They're here to just give you away. Then we have generators, which I already addressed. Generators are here or manifesting generators. Um,
Hey, Heather.
oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
weird.
I think your internet froze for like a second there. Whatever you just said for about the last minute, we did not catch.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. It looks fine. So I apologize. Uh, Manifestors, or did you guys lose that?
Um, I think it was starting to cut in and out on the manifestors, so let's back
Okay.
up. Yeah.
Got it. Sorry about that, everybody. So manifestors are instigators. They know stuff that the rest of the world doesn't know, and their whole job is here to inform. They actually have closed auras. Just give that information out. What people do with it is not your business. What helps a manifestor, and I'm wondering if we have any manifestors in the room, what helps a manifestor be aligned is informing other people for themselves, but not for others. My partner is a manifestor. She likes to inform me of my own business. That really makes me mad, but I love for her to inform me about her business. generators and manifesting generators are here to respond. So it doesn't mean that you don't initiate things, but you say, oh, I see that problem. I can fix that. I can change that. I can build that. I can do that. The world runs on generators. It's beautiful. Um, and then projectors, which there are a few of us here, projectors are here to guide and lead. We are here to help people see themselves more fully. We are often known as the know it alls who tell people what to do all the time, especially when we're younger. We learn the hard way not to give advice unless we've been invited in to do so. I know I was that know-it-all bossy kid. Alexa, you were too, weren't you? We always had the right answers for everybody. But now we know that we have to say, I have some thoughts on this. I have some ideas. Would you like to hear them? And then let people invite us in. Or like this space, right? Alexa invited me in to do this workshop. I actually asked, hey, can I do a workshop for your audience? She said I would love that. So I asked for the invitation. She invited me in. And now you're all here. So you've said yes, you've invited me in. So I can give you my advice now and feel great about it because you've chosen to be in this space, right? And then there are reflectors. And do we have any reflectors in the room? I'm thinking probably not. They're very rare, about 1% of the global population. And reflectors are just mirrors. So it's they have nothing defined. They just show people who they are. It's kind of a wild ride, but they're very cool. So I wanted to give you a foundation of human design, and then as we're moving through this, if you have questions and you let me know your type in the question, it will change the way I answer those questions for you. It shifted the way I coach and support people. So I want to move into real blocks that are not about how much time you have or how much talent you have. These are subconscious blocks. So when we think about our subconscious mind, I want you to picture an iceberg, and what you see above the water is like 5% of the iceberg. It's your conscious mind is about 5%, and the rest of it is submerged. It's subconscious. 95% of your thoughts, choices, actions, and behaviors are subconscious, and we don't even know they're running the show unless you start to do this kind of work. But here are some common blocks I've seen. If you want to share any of your blocks, please feel free to do that in the chat box. What if I'm not good enough? Who am I to write this anyway? I'm facing that block right now with my second book. Um, oh, the world is a dumpster fire. I can't do this right now. I want to write a book about choosing yourself and leading with embodied joy, and nobody wants to hear this right now. Except I know that we do need this in the world right now. It's really important to give that to the world right now because we can't just be surrounded in the ick. We have to find joy. We have to choose ourselves. We have to seek peace. Um, you cannot get your design. That's weird. Is the link not working for you? Hmm. Let me go back for a second and give you. Can you scan the QR code? Hopefully that'll help you. Or Alexa, maybe you could drop the link in the chat. Um, I don't have the time. Oh, that's such an interesting one, right? What I want to say has already been said. These aren't facts. These are stories. These are feelings. They're stories that are rooted in fear and misalignment. They're things that we think that keep us in a stuck space. And I'm just here to remind you that we are not stuck unless we choose to be stuck. And it's really fascinating to me that we're doing all of this today because I do a live show every Thursday. Oh, I can't charge you money for this. Eliza, that's such a big one. I actually had a conversation with a VIP client. We do one-on-one coaching together, and I want to give everything away, except this is my business. I want to like give her guided EFT tapping scripts, and I want to do subliminal audios, and I want to do all of these things for her that she has not paid for. Um, because I want to help people, because I love the work, because I know it changes people's lives. And I have to remind myself that this is my business. It is safe for us to charge what we're worth for the knowledge and the gifts that we're sharing. So for I can't change my mind, or I'm sorry, I can't charge money for this. I would, I have actually a collection of human design related subliminal audios. If I had that thought, I would either do some conscious reprogramming, either EFT tapping or listen to a subliminal audio specifically related to probably the heart center or the G center, because um, that will help you. clear out those stories a little bit. That's a big one. I can't charge money for this. I see this with entrepreneurs, women, men don't have that problem all the time, right? Okay. And Alexa says, I struggle so hard with charging money to people, which is actually insane because I wouldn't go to work for free for anyone else. Yeah, I feel that. And I have all these resources, and I'm like, oh, but I have the resources. I want to give them to people. And then I have to remind myself that it's okay to say this is what that costs, right? The subliminal audio costs $29. It's okay to say that. Um, it doesn't, it doesn't make me bad for charging money. That is, oh gosh, talk about rooted patriarchal nonsense, right? Those things are rooted in us that we shouldn't take up that space. That we have to give of ourselves all the time, that we have to sacrifice ourselves all the time. I'm actually going to change the slide because I think that this is important. Um, Simona, I had all of those for almost 40 years. I finally published my first book, and it's unbelievable feeling, even though I haven't earned any money from it yet. I feel that completely. I feel that. I honor that. Congratulations. You did the thing, you did the first thing, and celebrate the bejesus out of that all the time. Um, I think we sometimes get so lost on the very far away big picture, which is I'm going to write a book and it's going to make me a lot of money. Wouldn't that be amazing? But the first goal is writing the darn thing. And then the second goal is publishing the thing, which is its whole other mass. And thank goodness you all have Alexa and her amazing organization to support you in that because it is intense. And then marketing, exactly right. So you want to honor and celebrate each and every one of those momentous occasions. And I use all of my different subconscious reprogramming tools and recognizing my human design and how I want to approach each of those things. All of those things have to come together to equal that bigger goal. And that's what I said earlier. Big things don't happen in big steps. You don't just all of a sudden have a best-selling book that makes you a ton of money, right? That is not a thing that happens. Not for anybody. It doesn't happen for Taylor Jenkins Reid. It doesn't happen for Emily Henry. It doesn't happen for anybody. It's not going to happen for us. Lots and lots and lots of steps. And we want to honor those. We want to be grateful. We want to celebrate. We want to roll around in the joy of each and every one of those. And when our subconscious blocks show up, we want to deal with them. We want to find that time to honor them. So if you're feeling fear, you're feeling doubt, you're overwhelmed, there's probably something under the surface that's driving that. And here's the deal: traditional mindset tools don't reach the root. Your mindset alone cannot get you everywhere you want to go because if it could, you'd already be there. You'd already be there. That'd be done already. Mindset is important, so important. I'm not downplaying the importance. We have to start with that and we have to stay in that space, right? But then you want to take intentional action. You want to partner that mindset with intentional action. I have a deck of manifestation cards called the Create Brave cards. And I remind folks, I pull a card during my weekly live show every Thursday. I just did my show earlier today. That manifestation isn't declaring something and then it magically appears. Manifestation is declaring something and then shifting the way you show up in the world to make it appear. It's action oriented. You have to pick it, you have to do it. So, some of these subconscious patterns that commonly show up for writers is a fear of being seen, right? And I think I see this with photographers a lot too. It's way easier to be behind the scenes. But when you're marketing and promoting your stuff, you have to be out front, right? They're judging you, they're judging your work. You have to put yourself out there. We get into the I'm not good enough or I can't charge for that. Internalized perfectionism. How many of you, if I can't do it exactly right, why do it at all? But you're authors, you're writers. How many times do you have to edit? Go through the editing process and you still find a typo. Perfection doesn't work. And if you are staying in an internalized perfectionism loop, you're keeping yourself from success. You're making assumptions about all sorts of things that are not useful to you or the people you're making assumptions about. Alexa, yeah, some people preach manifestation like all you have to do is get up and say, today I'll make $1,000, but don't talk about the work you still have to do to get there. There's so much work. There's so much work. And I do the energy work, right? I get up in the morning and I go stand in my backyard barefoot and I feel myself and I ground into the earth. And here are my daily affirmations. I say, oh, I am the universe and the universe is me. And everything I desire desires me. The outcomes of just as abundance flows. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I ask myself, what intentional action do I need to take today? Because we have to be forward moving. We have to do the thing. As a projector in human design, I know I'm not going to like go crazy and hustle, 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 hustle all the time. So, how can I be more thoughtful about it? How can I block my time? How can I know what's going to move me and be important today so that I can prioritize reevaluating and resting moving forward? So many of us have a fear of success. Fear of failure is easy. It's fear of success, I think, that really gets us. Oh my gosh, what if it works? I know for me as a projector in human design, I have a absolute fear that if everything starts working the way I want it to, I won't have time for rest. I can hear that story. I can feel it in my body. And then I have to go through all of my steps and all of my processes to remind myself that the more I am thoughtful and rest, the more successful I am, that I can build my business in a way that honors me in this process, right? The success is going to serve me. It's not going to harm me. But again, we live in a world and a society where we are consistently told to sacrifice and give of ourselves. Don't take up too much space. Don't be too cocky. Don't be too confident. Don't take up too much energy. Bullshit. No. Take up all the freaking space. Be kind, be thoughtful, be generous, but take up space. Say what you want. Ask for support. Set boundaries. Trust yourself in the process. Right? Learn to feel what that intuition is in your body and take action on it. So, some of the really simple shifts I have here on this slide for you, um, breath and nervous system awareness, such a big deal. Take up space. Take up space. Reassessment, reframing, and resilience. My book, F Fearless, breaks down the Brave method, which is my creative, strategic approach to problem solving, dreaming, designing, building, and actually having a life that you love. And the Brave method, Brave is an acronym, right? And I chose with this book to do case studies, personal memoir, and then actionable things. That's how I broke this book down. But we're only talking about the three R's right now today: reassessment, reframing, and resilience. Awareness is the number one thing that is required for any shift or change to take place. You have to be aware before you can do anything else. So, pausing in to check in with yourself. Do I like this? Do I want this? Do I need more of this, less of this? What did I learn from this thing that didn't work well? Or what's happening in the world around me? You can't control or change anyone but yourself. You can only control or change your own thoughts, choices, actions, and behaviors. I call that taking radical responsibility for yourself, right? And then getting up and doing it again differently. I use subconscious reprogramming, so EFT tapping. I'm going to very quickly show you what that is. If anybody wants to know more about it, you can connect with me separately. But I want to honor our time here together. Subliminal audios help. I do hypnosis, time techniques, like all sorts of things like that. How many of you are self compassionate? I'm a big fan of Kristen Neff's self compassion work. Self compassion means allowing all of your thoughts and feelings without judgment and being curious about them, and then saying kind things to yourself, self-compassionate touch. It's so hard, Eliza, but it is so game changing. And the live show I did earlier today was that feelings aren't facts, they're just feelings. We need to learn from them. And that's a self-compassionate approach. It's really funny because I had not anticipated, yesterday I got down bad, right? And I just let myself sort of sit in it for a little while. I learned from it. I was curious about it, and it was just really random that that was today's live show topic. So you guys can go back and watch that on YouTube if you want to, or LinkedIn. But thoughts are not truths. They're not facts. They're just feelings, and we can process them. We can shift them, change them, move through them. Somatic practices, which support your nervous system, a huge way to do that. Whether it's shaking or moving, shimmying, all the things we do with babies, that's somatic work. We're going to be doing somatic movement every morning as a collective when in Costa Rica, at the retreat in Costa Rica. Lots of beautiful ways to do that. How many of you have ever done EFT tapping before? Anybody done EFT tapping? So EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique. Christine's done it. Hi, yes, Simona's done it. It's awesome. It's easy. This was my gateway drug to meditating. I now can sit down and meditate for even up to an hour if I choose to. I used to, my monkey brain just couldn't slow down, and I know that they say that you just let your thoughts flow when you're meditating, and but that's an easier said than done kind of thing. And EFT tapping really helped me through that process. So when you're tapping, it reduces anxiety and overwhelm, it calms your nervous system in real time, rewires your subconscious patterns, boosts your confidence, feels lighter. I did a guided EFT tapping in my live show just about an hour ago about releasing sadness that I'm feeling. But when you're tapping, you tap on all the meridian points and you start with your karate chop point. You can use either hand, and this is where you release the negative, right? So if if you have a fear of charging, you say, even though I feel like I can't charge for my work, I know that I'm valuable and worthy. Even though it's really hard for me to charge for my work, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, right? And you would do that 3 times. And then you go through the points and you start with the inner eye, the outer eye, under the nose, under the chin, your collarbone. I like to do under the breast, but not everybody does that. And then the top of your head. And you start by releasing the negative and you move into saying kind things. Oh, this fear of charging money is overwhelming. It makes me really tired, makes me exhausted, but I'm safe and it's okay. I know that people need what I have to offer. This is my business and people respect that, right? So you go through. I use scripts often, but I can take myself through it. My daughter uses the EFT, she's 12, she uses the EFT tapping to go to sleep every night. I recorded one for her. Even if I'm laying in bed with her, she makes me play the recording. She won't even let me do it live. Super, super helpful. Um, you could go down a rabbit hole. I have EFT tapping scripts and videos in my Spark Collective, but you can find this anywhere. Even if all you do, if you're feeling writer's block, if you're feeling stuck, or if promotion, editing, marketing, all of that is too much, even if all you do is go through each of the points and say, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. You're going to find that your nervous system relaxes. Your parasympathetic nervous system gets stimulated. You will shift your energy. It causes somatic energy movement. It'll take you out of one space into another. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And if anybody wants to know more about that, certainly reach out to me later. I also do Ask Me Anything office hours on Tuesdays. You're welcome to join. I'd love to have you there anytime. So we mentioned radical responsibility. None of this works unless you take radical responsibility for yourself. It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen. Bad things are happening all the time, especially now. They're everywhere. What radical responsibility means is that you look at that and you say, okay, given this knowledge that I have about this thing, who do I want to be in this moment? What do I want to choose in this moment? How do I want to behave in this moment? And then you take intentional action in that direction. So, step one is awareness. Human design is a huge component to being aware and understanding your own conscious pattern recognition so that you can call yourself on your own BS, so that you can shift yourself out of something. You can know when you're out of alignment. And you can take intentional action to change it. Step two is to release somehow, some way. You could try EFT tapping, some sort of nervous system safety, subconscious programming, go out for a walk, scream your head off, punch a pillow, all sorts of different things, but some sort of release. And then step three is an alignment. So once you've gotten aware and then you've released whatever you need to release, then you recalibrate. You create from a regulated resource place. You come up with a new plan, you try again, you do it differently. And that's going to look different for each and every one of us. We're all going to do that a little differently. That has to be okay. We cannot set it up to be exactly like somebody else does. We can't do it exactly like somebody else does because they're not us and we are not them. So why I love human design so much is you can build a life, a business around how you're naturally designed to experience the world, and that is game changing. I have a real problem with coaches and leads and guides and mentors who say, do it exactly like this and you're going to get this result. Come on now. How can they do that? They don't know that because they don't know how you're built and designed. So I always say, and hopefully you're doing that with the space today, take what really resonates with you and leave what doesn't. That's okay. My way isn't the only way and it isn't always the right way. It's what works for me. And I try to be broad enough that there's space for you to put yourself into it, to figure out how can you get aware? What are the ways that you can release? What does alignment look like for you? What intentional action do you want to take? And speaking of intentional action, we talked about this at the beginning. I am hosting a retreat in Costa Rica called the Reclaim Your Peace Retreat. I'm delighted that Alexa's going to be there with us. Um, and I am sharing this today because sometimes taking radical responsibility for ourselves is a small intentional action. Maybe it's getting up and walking away. Maybe it's making yourself write 3,000 words in a day. Maybe it's going away on a big adventure. Right. And so some of the things that we're going to do so this is a beautiful retreat center, literally in the middle of the jungle in Costa Rica. Absolutely incredible. The energy in the space, it is alive, literally alive. I felt when my feet were on the ground at this location in Costa Rica, it felt like there was a golden cord that came up from the core of the earth through my body and connected me to the cosmos. I literally vibrated with the energy of the universe at the MLO Institute. One of the things that I love, and I know this is one of the reasons Alexa was super into it, is all of our food is anti-inflammatory, plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free food, and it's actually delicious. I have traveled all over the world, and this food was amazing. And I was only there the last time for 2.5 days, and I am here to tell you, I felt better in 2.5 days. We're going to be there for 6 days. It's going to be game-changing. I'm guiding folks through somatic movement every day and nervous system support. We'll do human design and transformational coaching stuff as needed. We have some spots saved out for that. But I'm excited to say that we have Indigenous practitioners doing sound bath and breath work and the blue clay ritual. Oh my goodness, just magical. It's a special, intimate space, and I would love to invite you all to be curious about it if you want to know more about it. And right now, because I have a little space left, I am offering some special goodies. If you're feeling like saying yes to yourself, everybody who registers is going to get to decide between a free private 60-minute subconscious shift session with me after the retreat is over, or you can get the completed set of human design subliminal audios. That's your gift. And everybody who joins, everybody who's attending, is going to get a pre-retreat guided hypnosis that I want folks to listen to leading up to the whole month leading up to the retreat so that you can be open for this expansion and this abundance. If you guys have any questions about the retreat, you can hit me up. You can ask Alexa. Uh, um, we do only have a limited number of spots available. Unless they're gone, they're gone. But it would be so cool to have you there with us. Okay, we're wrapping this up. I might be a couple minutes over, but I'm so close and I'm really proud of myself. Permission. Permission, 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 permission. How many of you are waiting for permission to get started, to try it, to change your mind, to do it again, to stop doing it? Well, I'm giving you permission, but the truth is, you don't need permission from me. You need to give yourself permission. So here is a script. You can give yourself permission to do whatever you want, to utilize all of the resources that are available to you. You want to list them out. Take a screenshot, take a picture. I'm sure Alexa's going to share this with you. It's being recorded. I encourage folks to literally write this out and hang it up somewhere where you can see it. But the resources are really important. We do that in subconscious work and NLP, subconscious reprogramming work, because it reminds you that you have outlets, you have resources, you have ways to get to the next step. Oh, I'm going to reach out and ask Alexa this question. Oh, I'm going to talk to Heather about this thing. Oh, I'm going to say yes to this. I'm going to say no to that. What are your resources? And hold yourself accountable for that. Oh my gosh, we did it. Like I'm right on time. How about that? Um, we can, okay, it's a webinar, so we can't talk to each other, but I'm going to stay right here. Here's a way to connect. I would love to chat with you. I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Substack, and Blue Sky. I do a free office hour every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central. I do a live show every Thursday at 12 p.m. Central. I would love to stay connected. Here's a great chance to ask questions. I'm right here. I'm going to leave this slide up, but I have the chat box up. What's resonating with you? What are you excited to try now? Feel free to chime in and ask any questions. And then whenever Alexa, you want to say goodbye and shut it down, we can do that.
I'm curious about like, so now we have these results from these human design charts and like what's the next best step for making use of that information? And how do we find
Great.
out a bit more? Because I mean, you gave us the big picture, but you know.
Yeah, great question. So the easy answer, and I'm laughing because we're going back to I can't charge for that. I'm a human design reader. So you could book a reading with me and I could break down your specific unique chart in detail. And there are a couple different ways that you can do that. And I almost never lead with that. So I thank you for saying that. Oh, I can't charge for that because I would say, well, you can go down an Instagram or TikTok or YouTube rabbit hole. People are giving away free information all the time. And that's true. They are. And you can do that. And I started that way, but it won't be custom to you. So if you want something custom to you, I could do a reading for you. Thanks for asking that. And thank you for the commenter who reminded me to call myself on my own BS with that.
You know, it's really funny because I had my human design chart read like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And it didn't really, I mean, there were some parts of it that I was like, that's true, okay, whatever. But now when I look at
Mhm.
some of the things, I go back and I look at some of it, I'm like, oh, wow, it's so weird because that's what I grew into. Like it talks a lot about growing community and wanting to be
Yeah,
like the connector and the person. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I do.
that's
But
exactly what you do. Yeah,
now
yeah.
I have to figure out how to lean more into people have been telling me for years that I need to rest more because then I'll be able to open up more to what I'm really supposed to be doing. So that's the part
Mhm.
I gotta figure out how to get out of this like constant do 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 do.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it all, but let me know if I can help because I think it's an interesting, I know that it can be done and I know you can keep being successful and achieving all the things you do and shift things in a way that you get more rest, which is crucial. I mean, you know better than anybody
Yeah,
what happens if you push through.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions on any of the stuff that we covered in here?
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope there were some aha moments, some highlights. I'm so glad to share space with everybody.
It's a quiet group today.
I know it is. I'll stop sharing.
Do you want to drop your email list? I mean, your email address in case folks have questions.
Yeah, sure.
And make sure you say it out loud too, just for the sake of the
Okay. So it's Heather at vickeryandco.com. That's my
recording.
email.
Awesome. Thank you.
And any of you can reach out anytime about any of this. I hope that some stuff resonated, that you got a little sparkle of something, even if it was just one thing. But hopefully you had several. So
Well, I loved it. Thank you so much. And I
thanks,
cannot
Alyssa.
wait. I cannot wait
Oh
till Costa
no,
Rica. It's going to be so
me either.
great.
I'm so ready.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate your time and thank you to everybody who was here. And we'll get the replay
Absolutely.
out within the next 24 hours or so. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Joe says this was interesting.
I know. Joe's like, I'm not sure about that Heather chick, which is fine. I'm not for everybody, Joe. It's okay. It's not you, it's me.
Joe is a trooper. She is all about learning all the things. So, all right.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. Thanks.
Bye.